Yeah, you mentioned locker room and immediately, right? Flashbacks to all the different locker rooms I was in. I remember in our locker room in the early 2000s, the WWJD bracelets were a big thing,
Yeah,
right? What would
yeah,
Jesus do?
yeah.
And you'd see guys wearing them, and there's a bunch of funny stories with that. But you wear Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 on your wrist.
Yeah.
And you got it on right there as you're sitting in the makeup room at ESPN. Oh, shoot. I
Yeah.
wasn't supposed to tell people you're in the makeup room. So you got Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 right there on your wristband in that locker room that you go in every day, not just the makeup room, but the studio, all of the different appearances you do.
Yeah.
Why? Why do you wear that?
Um, because I want people to completely understand that what I am is a walking representation of transformation. I'm a walking representation of broken. I'm a walking representation of, um, you know, having a relationship with a God that, um, on a day-to-day basis lifts me up,
Hmm.
on a day-to-day basis convicts my heart, on a day-to-day basis challenges me to think about things and or people, not myself. I'm not naturally like that. I'm just not. I wish I was. I wish I could sit here and tell people that I'm naturally unselfish, or I don't have an ego. That's not naturally who I am. I am a person that constantly needs to be reminded of things. It's just,
Hmm.
I think the sports of me, the quarterback of me, it, studying notes and studying notes and studying notes and catching those reminders. So this was said to me actually from someone on Twitter, through golf.
Hmm.
A guy, was a golf teacher, and he sent it to me. And I think that I remember as a kid, my father used to say to me, "You think you know everything." Um, and this verse kind of leans to, lean not on your own understanding. And
Hmm.
so I think it's a reminder for me as well. Um, lean into to God as much as I can, on the things that sometimes I don't know and or don't understand.
I think it was Tony Dungy that said to Jason Romano in that building, not in the makeup room, I don't think. I'll ask him later. But I know in that building, it said, hey, man, you got to bloom where you're planted.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, you're planted in this place.
Mm-hmm.
And, Jason and Jade and I all work there, and we know the challenge of that place. You mentioned kind of ego, and you mentioned, just self-righteousness and
Yeah.
opinions and everything that is commanded or asked of you of that employer to put yourself out there, right? To make it all about your declarative, strong opinions. How do you bloom there? How do you bloom for him in that building that many times, Dan, asks you to be the opposite of what that verse says?
Yeah. I think that the easiest way for me, Brock, is admitting when I'm flawed, admitting when I make mistakes, admitting
Mm.
when I say something. And that's so we're in this industry, in this world where, like, candidly, you root for the things that you say. You root for your take or your opinion to be right. I think that's the competitor in me. And so I think it's in the moments when you say something that maybe in the moment or in the future is incorrect, admitting that gracefully,
Mm.
um, praising others. Listen, I'm in this building 4 days a week for the most part during football season. We are working with the same people for the most part off screen every day. To sit here and think that those people, um, or we don't have some form of an impact on those people and the way that we talk to our castmates, the people that we're on television with, the people that we're talking about on television, to talk to them. So I think it's one, just the grace of saying, yeah, man, I was wrong, and kind of being okay with that, praising the people that you're on with when they're right, and lifting
Mm.
them up, I think is a little rare in our industry. And again, the people that don't get to be on screen, and don't reap the benefits of being on screen, but you can't be good on screen without them. I think as I think we try to do it on a daily basis, telling those people, thank you, like, thank you, and lifting them up and propping them up, I think is a big kind of a cognizant aspect that I try and get across.
Hey, last two things here, because I know you got to run onto that set as well. Who in your career, in that 13-year journey in the NFL, was the most impactful as far as that bracelet you got around your wrist? Who were some? If it
Yeah,
is it
I'm not going to
one,
give you one name. It's impossible to.
who were some of the most
Yep.
impactful for you in your
Yep.
NFL journey that has you planted where you are today, blooming the way you are?
Yeah. First of all, John Kitna. My kids' will be changed because of John Kitna.
Mhm.
John Kitna took a immature, narcissistic, self-absorbed guy, and under his wings, discipled me, convicted me, um, gave me the courage, without knowing it, to be bold in faith. Um, Painted a very black and white picture of what faith looks like. Was one of the first adult males I had ever watched in my life be maniacally competitive like I was, but also be able to want to love on his wife and love on his children, and not make the cliche remarks about being married and or a dad. John Kitna. Second thing would be Josh McCown. Josh McCown taught me that loving on another adult male was good. Like embracing another adult male, 30, 35, 40-year-old guys, hugging them, telling them how great they are at things, loving on. I'd never seen that in my life, Brock. This guy who, runs sprints harder than anyone I've ever seen, and plays football as hard as I've ever seen, is walking up to grown men, giving them a hug and say, "Hey, bro, I love you." I've never seen that before. And that was like a really cool, like, again, gravitating pull for me. Dave Wilson, I got, who was our team chaplain, who's, church in Michigan and family first now, or family life now. I was so prepared for marriage because of Dave Wilson. Prepared. How does a husband handle this situation, that situation, love on his wife, deal with conflict, go vertical before he ever goes horizontal? My marriage, I've been married for over 12 years, is like the most awesome part of life for me. And there's no way it would be 1% of that if not for the time I spent with Dave Wilson. Mike Furry, wide receiver in the NFL, who's, just got done coaching wide receivers with the Bears, was because he showed me how you could walk without being in your face and look at me about it. Every day, the walk, just walk the walk, and you don't have to tell everybody about it. I think those four guys are probably, if I could quantify the impact that they had on my life, I could, or I would. No shot. I mean, my kids' lives will be different because of those four men.